Welcome to Chakrayog Canada. Here we help to heal and balance chakras with the help of Rudraksha and gemstones.
Hi, morning Raga viewers. Hope you all are doing good and staying home safe. And today I have a special guest on my show, a self-taught artist and also a safari planner and a wildlife photographer. It's none other than Usha Harish. So this show is sponsored by Manoj Karata of Remax Performance Realty, Chakrayog Canada, Kaveri Supermarket, Godavari Restaurant, Swati Miriala of 21st Century Realty, Raghavellam of Mortgage Explorer, and also sponsored by NCPL Consulting, Biryani Wala Restaurant, Cambridge, redbuyers.com, iBuying Real Estate, Sunnyvale Supermarket, and Udupi Madras Cafe. So now I would like to invite our special guest, Usha Harish. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Hi,
Hi, ma'am.
Aparna. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank
Thank you so much.
thank you for inviting me to your show. It's a pleasure to interact and talk to your viewers. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all staying safe back in Toronto.
And I'm so excited because you're on my show because every time I'll be looking for, new things. And suddenly I found you on Instagram through our Telugu blogger, Uma Garu. So it's really nice knowing about you. So shall we get started, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, Aparna.
And for sure you'll be upset if I'm calling you ma'am, but I'll try my
Please
best to
call me
call
Usha. Please call me Usha.
you.
I would
So
appreciate that.
yeah. So everybody knows, like most of us know that you are a chartered accountant turned into wildlife photographer. So can you please tell us about your journey?
Okay. So it all started. So I'm basically from south of India, from Coimbatore, and I've always been with the lap of nature, but been good academician. So I focused myself on academics and back in India, and then I did my chartered accountancy, and I was in a corporate career. I was working in different telecom companies doing audits. So that was what I thought in my life would be my career growth. And it so happened that I got married and I moved to Mumbai. And for me, coming from south of India, Bombay itself was a big change with the people and the life around, and I enjoyed that. Then we moved to Nairobi in 2008. That was for my husband's job, and that's when I have even thought of anything outside India, about that there is African continent, and we wanted to. So we just wanted to explore, and also for his job we moved. So I was thinking maybe I will be pursuing my career here, but it was a new culture, new people, new language. Everything was new, and I when we moved here, I decided, okay, let me take a break, let me understand, let me settle down, because there's no family support also. So I was still trying to look for some jobs, but nature has always been, part of my childhood and upbringing. So, and when I came here and we visited through, some of the national parks here, like Masai Mara and Samburu National Reserve, um, I just fell in love with the place, especially Mara. I said, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Lot of wildlife." Um, I've been brought up around Nilgiri Mountains, so seen peacocks and elephants, all Asian elephants, but then not really seen the way African wildlife looks like. So that was just like any other tourist exploring the place. And then our son was born, so became, I wanted to give my full time to motherhood. And I was taking care of him, and meanwhile, going on safari and looking for wildlife was always in my mind. So when our son was born and he was 6 months old, I took him again for safari, because it was my personal passion. Which it was something which was in me, that I should keep going, but I can't go alone. So I took my child as well and started looking at wildlife again and again. So that's how this journey actually started inside me, about knowing about the nature and place and animals. Photography came later after that.
But in today's world, it's not very easy for any individual to leave their career and start over again from the beginning, like from the scratch. And especially in today's world, everybody are so ambitious. Like everybody feels that why should I leave my career for my partner? It might be a woman or man. So it's a very big step which you have taken.
Yeah, see, it's important when you have a family, you have to give 100% there as well. So I the moment, I completely adapted to the new system, new place. I never regret on what I have left behind. So I never brood on, oh, because it was my own conscious decision of moving
Mhm,
here for
mhm.
my spouse's career. So there's no point in discussing on that. I probably look for something which I can possibly find opportunity and adapt to the new situation and new place. And nothing like being in Africa and exploring nature. So that slowly started getting into me. And I had always a camera with me. I used to take pictures, but never knowing what you are taking. So that took a leap where I had to really work on it. Um, with a child. So yeah, that was an interesting phase of life.
So I totally get your point, and also I have a viewer who wants to talk to you, and he got a question about now what the topic on what we are talking now. So I would
Okay.
like to add to the screen.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, let me unmute you. Hi.
Hi, Aparna.
Hi. Hi. How are you,
Hi.
Ajay?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Aparna, for letting me in and letting me share space with Usha Garu. Hi, Usha Garu.
Hi. How are you? What's
Hi.
your name?
I'm doing. My name is Ajay.
Ajay. Hi, Ajay.
Yeah. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time and joining with us. And so I've been following your Instagram page for a very long time, and
Uh-huh.
I've been a fan of your photography, especially the wildlife
Thank you so
photography.
much.
I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, I like wildlife photography, and I follow everyone on Instagram, and especially you because so there is this thing with me that you know in this world there are like men and women, and
Mm-hmm.
they can both do similar things at the same time, and
Mm-hmm.
especially coming to wildlife photography, I haven't seen so many people, I mean, especially women in wildlife
Mm-hmm.
photography.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it so interesting that you're doing, and you're from India and you're doing it in South Africa. And also
Kenya.
you have, sorry, Kenya. Yeah,
Kenya.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. Kenya.
Uh,
Talking with you, I forgot completely. So in Kenya, you were doing wildlife photography, and you have a camp as well there. So that got my attention, and your photography is splendid and fantastic. First thing, and also recently, I bumped into a YouTube channel called Uma Telugu Traveler. So
Hmm.
he visited your place, and he shared his journey, and along with his journey, he shared your journey as well. Have you managed to set up the camp, and have you came to Kenya, and how your journey went? And the best part in the whole YouTube video is, sorry, I'm talking too much. Is the way you explained about the animal behavior, and how they do their things in their natural. We are not used to that, their natural space, right? But you are explaining to him so good that, I mean, even I thought I was just there, like experiencing what he is experiencing. So you are explaining so good. So I just wanted to ask you, how did you get into the wildlife photography, and how did you learn about those animal behaviors and all those? So, because he said
Yeah,
that you were a chartered accountant back home, and when you came here, because you are into
yeah,
accounts, right?
yeah,
So how did
yeah,
you get
yeah.
into this wildlife photography and the animal behavior? Did you study them? How did it happen?
So, one thing which is very important in wildlife photography is to understand the animal behavior, because it's not like you will get the images what you want just like that, because
Right.
you need to be patient, you need to really wait for the moment to happen. So how I got, by the way, thank you Ajay for really following me and asking me questions which I'm really happy to answer.
It's my
How
pleasure.
I got into wildlife photography was because I started loving African wildlife and the parks, what it has to offer. um, I never used to compare one national park to another national park, because each of the national park is unique with its ecosystem, with its environment, and with its animals behavior. It's like a combination of many things which comes together. It's not about seeing a lion and you just say that, oh, lion is all everything. A lion, to survive, the whole ecosystem has to really be healthy. And for with that ecosystem, I mean, even an insect, even a bird, even anything, any water body, any animals, organisms in that water body, everything is connected in nature. So I started liking that first, and then, because I always had a camera, I used to shoot, I used to take pictures. um, how I got into wildlife photography was the love for nature. And it used to really fascinate me, even if I see a tree and an insect or a caterpillar moving on it. I used to be fascinated. So now the next thing started coming, why don't I take a nice picture of it? So with that grew the interest of learning how to take a good photograph. So how I learned is internet. Yes, there are lots of good YouTube contents, and there are a lot of photo community sites where I started seeing others pictures. But more so, the most important factor is every one of us has this interest of learning wildlife photography, and everyone has a good camera with them. Yeah. But most of us fail to understand what our camera can do. So the first step towards photography, not even wildlife, is to learn your camera through the manual is there. And so when I got my camera DSLR, that's what I did. I used to change all the settings, because you get to understand what is exposure triangle, and then basic curiosity on why this is happening, why this is not happening, why this image is not good. So it was a journey of converting this hobby into a passion because of that curiosity to know about the animal, why this lion is roaring, why is a leopard able to carry such a big impala, or all that. So that question why kept giving me answers. There are a lot of books where you can know, and more you go on safaris, you really understand the behavior, and then you start respecting the animal because we are in their kingdom. So
Right.
once you do that, then you will start being patient on handling your camera, wait for the moment, and then start taking images. When I started, I used to also do like everybody else, take 10,000 pictures and come, and then I start deleting it. But then slowly, the more you come, more you see the animals, you start really appreciating, oh, now this will happen. Now let's wait. And your guides, you go with a guide, safari guide. So it's a teamwork, the guide makes a big difference. So they have the instincts very sharp because they've been there throughout with them. So
Right.
it's a combination of both between a guide and a photographer to work together and make these images. Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. And just another question. So, as I told you before, that there are like handful of people, especially women, from wildlife photography, especially from India.
Hmm.
Do you think there are a lot of challenges for a women rather than a man in doing wildlife photography? Why is it different? Why don't we find so many women come in to do the wildlife photography
I
rather
think,
than a regular one?
yeah, no, I think it's not just India, it's about the developing countries across the world, where the exposure of all many things are lesser for a women, because our society, our culture is that, we there are certain things which a man does, certain things a women do. No, I'm not talking about the desk job, which is
Right, right.
any today's world, man, women, all are equal on doing a desk job.
That's true.
Each one is talented. Everybody is able to do. It's only about physically stepping out and doing it is challenging for women, because I think still in today's world, um, we have priorities. So and we are tuned to it, we are cultured and we are brought up with that. So I think that's the reason. But the moment nobody is stopping you, I don't think so any man will stop a woman if you have a good understanding between each other. It's only that women have that, we have that inertia of not not doing what we getting out of that comfort zone, which is what stops us most of the time. I don't think so it has to be blamed on the man. If we have the will to do this, I think we can find a way for sure.
Hopefully, looking at you and others, most of them come out and do what you are
Thanks.
doing.
No, I'm just trying, I'm
Very
just
good.
trying. I'm taking it one step at a time. I am in I mean, it's a small world, and natural world, there is so much fascinating things to do. So you're not competing with anyone. You're just doing what you like to do, and you want to showcase it to the people, to the world, that like humans, there are animals also exist. So that's the idea about this.
Thank you
Good.
so much, Ajay, for joining the show today. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Yes, you as well. And Usha Garu, thank you so much for taking your time and talking with us. And I just want to ask one last question. And I know the answer for this, but still, do you miss the concrete jungle rather than the real jungle?
I don't miss the concrete jungle at all. I only miss my family in that concrete jungle.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank
Family
you
and
so
friends.
much,
Yeah,
Andy.
yeah. Most welcome. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you for giving me time. And
Have a great
you have
day.
a wonderful day. And Usha Garu, thank you so much. And
Most
keep doing what
welcome.
you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep following. Thanks. Bye.
So, Usha, I have many other things to ask you, but before that, I have a very small little girl who just joined our show and she wants to ask something to you.
Okay.
And also before that, Sai Kumar Yamala, he's saying good evening, madam.
Oh, good evening, Sai.
And also
I hope
Vidya
you're all fine.
Srinivasan, she's saying hi to you.
Hi, Vidya.
So now we have Riyanshika Uppalapati.
Hi.
Hi, Ria.
Hi, Shagaru.
How are you?
I'm good.
So how old are you, Ria?
I'm 9 years old.
What do you want? Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm in 3rd grade.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So I have to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite memory in wildlife photography?
What is my favorite memory in wildlife photography? Okay, that's a great question. Actually, there are many moments which I cannot forget. But one of my favorite moment, if I have to shortlist, was, I'm always fascinated by a cheetah. So when I saw the first time when a cheetah was running very fast, cheetah is the fastest animal in the world, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw the cheetah chasing and catch a gazelle, I just felt, it is part of nature, you know. One animal dies, but the other animal has to live. So that was one of the memorable moment when I saw it for the first time.
Yeah. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, Ria.
No
Enjoy.
problem.
Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
See you, Ria. Thank you. So, yes, ma'am. So I'll get back to my questions now. And
Yeah.
also, we have Geeta Satyanarayana who's saying, very proud of my sis, happy for you. And
Uh-huh.
also, Vignesh Ramachandran, he's saying hi to you.
Hi, Vignesh.
So, ma'am, like when Ajay was asking you questions, he was talking about your campsite in Masai Mara. So,
Mm-hmm.
could you please talk more about it and share your experience and thoughts, how it happened, everything, your journey?
Mm-hmm. So, so when I started my wildlife photography, I was exploring the place, Kenya, Uganda, because we stayed in Uganda as well for 4 years, and mountain gorillas were another fascinating creatures which I fell in love with. Used to go quite often, like as a traveler, I used to explore. So that helped me to plan safaris for people, because when you plan safaris, are you doing it for photographers, or are you doing it for family oriented safari? So everything I started getting exposed to with experience. And so that brought me to do a lot of Kenyan safaris in Uganda, because I used to go, and also started taking photo safaris, teaching also wildlife photography. So this was happening since 2012 I started, and then 2015 it grew up. And last year we started a small venture. This is with my Masai partner, in a Masai land. So we started a small venture of a tented camp where, we can host guests. And it has guest tents, it has lounge dining, and it's a self sufficient, fully functional camp now. And basically to also empower the Masai community we have, and people around there. So yeah, that just happened recently, and we are happy that, to host everybody and show African wildlife and safaris what Mara can actually bring, because it's a beautiful place. Um, Masai Mara is one of the wonders in the world, I must say, because it's an open grassland area, and it's just not for wildlife alone, it's for landscapes, birds. It has so many things to offer. Just sit and watch what the nature has got there itself really opens up a lot of things, so it's like therapeutic.
So, viewers, you can just go to Instagram page and you can also follow Usha ji's Mara Siligi Camp. That's her Insta handle name. And also, one of our viewer, Ravi Shankar Balakrishnan, he's saying, Jumbo Mama Usha, Habari Yako.
Muzuri sana. Ravi
I
Shankar.
don't know what it means.
So Habari Yako means how are you? And Muzuri
Okay.
Sana is I'm fine. And that is in the language, official language of Kenya, which is Kiswahili.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, ma'am, when you're talking about the photography, so some important things to know about wildlife photography compared to the regular photography.
Mm-hmm. One foremost thing in wildlife photography is patience. Also, you cannot predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between a studio photography and a nature photography, because in nature you just have to wait. You have to wait for what's going to happen. You can keep all your settings, but if what you really wanted to see doesn't happen, you have to pack your camera and come back.
Yeah.
But whereas in studio photography, you can plan the light. Oh, by the way, another important thing in wildlife photography, you cannot control the light.
Mhm.
You may think it's going to be a sunny day, but it could possibly be a cloudy. Suddenly clouds may come and it may rain. So you cannot predict the weather. Basically, it's unpredictable. It's not something which can be scripted. So you just need to be ready with that. So that's the major difference in wildlife.
Okay. And also, I know, like, I'm sure every single photo of yours have a story behind it. And I got like two interesting, I love all your pictures, but two interesting pictures, like, which came like to my attention. So I would like to share that to the audience as well. So just a minute. So, Ushadi, can you please explain more about this gorilla's picture?
Which one is that?
Oh, are you able to see? I
No.
shared gorilla's picture.
Okay, I cannot see that.
So, which looks directly to your camera.
Okay. So this was one of the gorilla treks which I had done. I've done totally around 13 treks as of now. Basically, different family of gorillas you go and see. That particular picture which you are talking about is a silverback gorilla. So
Yeah.
silverback gorilla is the dominant male and dominant gorilla in the family group. So gorillas are patriarchal. They've so, they develop gray hair at the back after the age of 15. So that's why they are called silverback and they become the dominant. So that particular image is one of the silverbacks of a family group of gorillas in Uganda where we went for trekking. So there are people who actually, go and So we have rangers with us, when we go. So as we were in the jungle, gorillas were not far because they keep moving. They keep coming around. There's a safe distance you have to maintain, but maybe the gorillas may come closer to you, and you just have to be stay put. So this particular image was when this gorilla was really looking like thinking about something very he was like in a big thoughtful mood, and I was taking pictures very quietly. Suddenly and he was sitting like and I was lucky that I could take just it just happened for split second. He just looked at me and I could capture him, because silverback gorillas are really they are big, and they can intimidate you, so yeah, that's how it just happened. I'm glad the lighting was good, and it just gave me a stare. He just gave it.
Yesterday, I was going through your Instagram profile and I saw a few of your videos, like when you visited the
Yeah,
yeah. So I
silverback
was like,
gorilla.
and those people, the guys got like big guns and everything, and it's all like very well done, right? So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, that's a great experience one
Yeah,
could have.
but in the wild, when you start seeing and appreciating them, any
Mhm,
animal, I find there is a lot of discipline in the wild.
mhm.
Big cats, you talk about lions, cheetahs, leopards, or elephants, or rhinos, giraffes, or any other mammals or any other species. There is a lot of discipline. There are only two reasons things can happen in the wild: is for food, because whoever is at the top of the food chain would probably would kill the other one, and they only fight for dominancy. So these are the only two things wild is for. As people, when we go and visit them, if we just maintain what we are doing and we don't really hurt them, they are very peaceful. They are actually one of the peaceful, especially mountain gorillas, elephants. All are in their own space, wild and free.
Yeah.
um, we just go and see them the way they are. That's it. So there's actually, when you say, it's a very common question. Like, even when I came first time, when you see the lion coming close, yes, it intimidates you because lion is lion. But
Yes.
then you understand that the lion is not going to come and eat us. It's he's in his place, and he has lots of food around. So, and we just enjoy the place.
Yeah. And also, we have one comment from Vignesh Ramachandran. He is saying, happy to stay in Marasiligi camp October 2020 of Usha
Oh yeah.
Hotel. Home away home with the wonderful hospitality.
Thank you, Vignesh. You've been really kind.
And
And thanks.
also,
He came, yes.
and also we got one more comment from Avni Shah. Usha auntie,
Hmm.
we love your photos. You are inspirational for us. Hugs Aditi and Rohini from Nairobi.
Oh, so nice. So
Yeah.
nice. Thank you, Aditi and Rohini.
So, ma'am, there is one picture taken by you that was even shared by Apple. So, before I talk, I would like to share that with the audience
Hmm.
as well. So, just a minute. So, this is the picture. So, I was
Yes,
surprised to know that it was taken on an iPhone. And in
yes,
general, one things about wildlife photography, professional cameras, like bulky lenses, is all what comes to our mind. So, what is
yes.
your opinion on this? And also, if you can share more details about that Apple story and story of Apple story.
Yes. No, so basically, when I travel, yes, I have lenses, and I have invested in a good camera equipment for wildlife photography. We do need a longer lens because not always the animals come closer. That is
Yeah.
why in wildlife photography you tend to have a zoom lens.
Mhm.
But when I travel along with my camera, I always use my mobile. My
Okay.
iPhone is always with me because I find it extremely useful.
Mhm.
And the kind of, photography is all about composition. One of the main things which I believe in is,
Uh-huh.
you can take a good photo in any equipment,
Mhm.
because if you frame it nicely, you can bring the essence in the image. It could
Mhm.
be anything. It could be portrait, it could be wildlife, or any other genres.
Mhm.
So this particular image was when we went to Amboseli National Park in Kenya.
Mhm.
And Amboseli is known for these mighty tuskers and a lot of elephants, who come to the swamp area. And you get the backdrop of Mount Kilimanjaro there, because Mount Kilimanjaro is the biggest mountain in Africa, with snow
Mhm.
capped. So this particular day, when we were doing a morning safari, we saw a lot of elephants with beautiful. Mount Kilimanjaro was also snow capped. We took photographs, but this particular tusker was coming on the road, you know.
Mhm.
So when he came, I take a shot in my iPhone most of the times. Also, I take it in camera, and this as I captured this, thinking that this should be the frame which I want. So I
Mhm.
happened to put that, and I shared it in Instagram, and I think and Apple picked it up and featured in their Instagram Apple site. Yeah.
Yes, it's. I know it's a very proud moment for you and also for all of us. And so, do you constantly change your angle as you shoot to see what looks? And when you get it into your computer, or you decide ahead of time, like in what angle I have to shoot? Because sometimes with the animals, it's not. You cannot go with your
Yeah.
plan.
No, yeah, most of the yeah angles are important.
Uh-huh.
As I said, it's not possible that you can script exactly this is what the animal will enter the frame,
Mhm.
because we might be thinking this, but it could happen the other way also. But yes, when I'm taking consciously, I definitely look for angles and shoot accordingly. Yeah.
Okay. So, Usha, do you take any nighttime wildlife photos? Like, if you take any like nighttime wildlife photos, so how do you manage the lighting? And
So
it's supposed to use because they say we are not supposed to use any flash on the animal, like before the animal, right? So,
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you manage that?
Yeah, see, my travels in Kenya or my travels in Uganda has always been to national parks,
Okay.
which are actually managed by the wildlife service, wildlife officials, and those designated national parks. We are not allowed to have a night game drive,
Okay.
because but there are places where you can actually do night game drives. Yes, you're not supposed to use a flash, but
Mhm.
what people do is they show there has to be some artificial light coming into it, otherwise
Mhm.
you cannot camera cannot perform.
Yeah.
I have not done a lot of night photography for wildlife.
Mhm.
So personally speaking, I've done possibly once, and you just need what they do is there are some equipments where they show light on the animal, and then you can shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what are some of the difficulties faced by a wildlife photographer on a regular basis, and also, especially being a woman, what are the difficulties you think you're facing?
You mean challenges or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
um okay, wildlife photography, you if truly if you're just looking for wildlife photographs, you have to sometimes just be with the animal. You know, it's happened many a times where you start your safari at say 5:30 in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
you think that you may come back to your camp and just have some lunch and rest, but it so
Uh-huh.
happens that possibly that particular animal has maybe chances of seeing something, and then you tend
Uh-huh.
to possibly stay for the whole day. So
Mm-hmm.
you see, you have to just be there, and
Yeah.
you cannot expect any luxury, you cannot expect any comforts which can be brought at that time.
Yes.
You just need to be with them. That's one of the challenges, but as such in wildlife photography, yeah, you if you start investing in your cameras and lenses, you have to really lug around with them,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to take care of the equipments, you know, and that's one of the things you need to always keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those I
I
don't
can share
find
this
big
screen.
challenges.
Yeah, because now you're talking about the like you should have patience and all. I remember in one of your interview you were talking about uh, one thing about the cheetah.
Hmm.
So how is it like how much time did you wait and you were traveling with the cheetah? So and this one like this one, right?
Ah, yeah.
And I
That's
think
one of the rare moments which we happen to witness, where
Uh-huh.
cheetahs usually don't climb trees.
Uh-huh.
They don't generally entertain because they don't have they don't have retractable claws.
Uh-huh.
So like dogs, they their claws cannot go back. So then
Yes.
they don't really like to climb trees, because for a big cat a claw is very important
Uh-huh.
for hunting. So, but in
Uh-huh.
this particular case, so she's a mother cheetah,
Mhm.
and we started following her in the morning,
Mhm.
and she was hungry. So we were expecting, okay, possibly she'll do some hunt, but she
Mhm.
kept walking, and she was really hungry, and she was really desperate on making kill something. There were
Mhm.
failed attempts as well, but there she goes. She suddenly climbs the tree, and we didn't know why she's climbing the tree. I'm happy that I could capture
Okay.
this at the right moment, because the way she climbed was for no reason. But then we later realized that she spotted a small lizard in the tree, and
Wow.
that is why she climbed. At least she could catch it. So, but she failed because the lizard was faster.
Oh.
She's not comfortable in a tree. So then she was getting down. So it took a lot of time for us, easily around 6 to 7 hours, to just follow her. And we didn't follow any other animal. So
Uh-huh.
this is my this is my view, and my suggestion to people who come for safari is,
Mhm.
you may be a photographer who's coming for safari, or a non-photographer. Please do not have a lot of expectations, and do not have some checklist in mind, that you will
Mhm.
see this, you will see that. The reason is, the moment you have checklist in mind, that I want to see a lion, leopard, elephant, cheetah, all that, what happens is you are only seeing that animal. You are not following the animal and understanding. One animal can give you a lot of interesting behaviors. People fail to see that, because they just want to see and go. So if we change the mindset of just be there and go with the guide's instincts, and whatever comes, I'm 100% sure you will get more than what you even thought of. So patience is very important for anybody to come on a safari.
Okay. And also one of our viewers, her name is Panna Kopala. She got a question for you. So I'm always fascinated about how some of the wildlife photographers have some real cute pictures together with the animals. I'm amazed how animals cooperate. Do they get friends with the photographer?
See, yeah, if a photographer is following an animal for a long time, sometimes yes, the animal also has emotions. They also have they tend to possibly become comfortable
Mhm.
with that. So sometimes you get some images, yes. Unless and until I see, unless and until you are doing it with a purpose, that's a different thing. But
Mhm.
on a safari, when you are coming on a safari, we don't encourage animals to be you shouldn't attract their attention,
Okay.
because you must be there, observe them, enjoy them, take photographs, and keep going. So that should be the way to be looked at.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And also, we got a comment from Jignal Ray.
Mhm.
Usha ma'am's captures a perfect example of beauty lies in eyes of beholder. And
Nice.
Geeta Satyanarayan, she's saying that she remembers the cheetah story. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And also, you are in Kenya right now. So
Mhm.
usually, like Kenya is not something like US or Canada. So people like people got their own assumptions about the place, like East Africa, about the Africa and everything. And also, you started your Mara Silgi camp with your guide, who is a tribe. Like your
Mhm.
guide is from the tribe.
Mhm. Mhm.
And one thing, we trusting them is one thing, but the other way, if you look into look from the other way, like them trusting you is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please explain your bonding, like how you adapted their lifestyle and how you became friends, and what made you to choose that person from the tribe to be your partner?
No, see, it all. I don't. After I moved here, I believe that just a human interaction. It doesn't come. It's not about the tribe. It's not about your religion. It's not about a nationality, your culture. It's about a connection with a human being. And the moment you connect in that perspective, it's a different understanding. So you just need to be yourself. You just need to be doing the same thing what you generally do. People and you make friends. So uh, there's always a good vibe and good friendships which are created wherever in the world you travel, right? So this is one of them. And I don't think so everything in life has a reason or an explanation. It happens.
Yeah, and it's not very easy
And
for
the
all
moment
of
you
us.
understand, the moment you are in their space, you have to respect their tribe. You have to respect their culture. You have to understand. The moment you do that, then it's an easy way. Because I believe that the community around the animals, wildlife, is extremely important, because they are the custodians of the wildlife around. So the moment you see them, what you start appreciating when you go and see them what they do. And that really adds a lot of respect to the community, to the people, to the guide whom I go with. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, but it's not really easy because many people they don't like to adapt the change in their life. And the best part I love about you is being a photographer is one thing, but still going to a new place and still adapting it, and also like many people they get discouraged that they left their career or they don't have any opportunities to grow in their like in their respective career or future. But the beauty of your life story, like your story, is you adapted it and you created your own opportunity. And it's really good. And I also read about you that after having the baby, after 3 years, you started it. And many
Yeah.
people, even like young mothers, they feel so depressed that it's end of our life and everything is more about the family and the baby. But
No, it is important. It is important. But if there is something in yourself, something which is keep on telling you that this is what I want, this is what I want. If you work towards it, it will happen. And your support system will definitely support you. Family will support you if you start it. The I think the beginning has to happen from you. Rest all will fall in place. They will encourage you. But most of the time where we get stuck is we want somebody else to push us, somebody else to give all the guidance, and then we chart it. But I think everybody is talented, especially women. Women have, I think God has made us have the creative side naturally. And possibly after I became a mother, I gained a lot of patience as well. So that really helped me in wildlife, I guess.
yeah, in one
So
of your
each
interview,
one
you were
can do
saying,
what we want.
yeah, in one of your interview, you were saying that instead of finishing, like reaching my goal in couple of years, it happened in 8 years, something like that. But still, what I have learned is patience. That's what you mentioned in one of your interviews.
Yeah. It helps. Patience definitely helps for getting in wildlife photography. And also, so I think nature can calm down any person. Like I've seen a lot of guests who come, different experiences, but when they go back after doing their safari, I think they are a changed person. Because there is some always nature can make you calm.
Yes. And you are living, they say you live like your life, you have to live your life like king size. You're the example, you are living the life in the queen size.
No. I don't even, I'm not, as I said, I'm just taking it one step a time, one moment a time. It's whatever is happening is nice. But this is not what I had charted. I am just adapting myself to what I was able to do. So it's a journey.
Yeah.
I don't have a destination. I'm just enjoying the journey.
And we got a comment from Ravi Shankar Balakrishnan. He's saying that Nairobi is a paradise on earth. The local people, irrespective of tribe, are loving and welcoming.
Yes, that is true. Africans are very warm and friendly people. Definitely.
And
They are
also,
not. Yeah.
Satyanarayana, she's saying that you are Mara Queen.
Thank you. Thank you. I've gone
And
many times.
but besides all these questions, I have a very basic, simple question for you. Like all your interviews, even when I spoke to you for the first time, you're so welcoming, and I didn't feel that I'm talking to somebody like a stranger. And the way you explain the things, they are very like they are very beautifully explained by you. Like I think like by birth you got this thing like you should be a teacher like who explains the things in such a nice way like so that when I was in my school I never liked geography. I never liked history because I always used to feel that it's like too much of pressure on my head. But I wish all like every school got one teacher like you who can explain, in such a simple way and in a beautiful way so that kids will enjoy listening to the stories. Like instead of by hearting the subject, they can, understand in depth and they can remember like here.
That's because each of my story or what I explained is I have experienced it, and it's a heartfelt thing. So it just comes straight from it. Even after 50 years, if someone asks me the same cheetah on the tree, probably I would repeat the same because that's etched in my memory.
And also, ma'am, your photographies, I would like to share that too because in your portfolio there is one section saying
Mm-hmm.
like emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know you love big cats and you like this one emotions.
I love to capture the emotions, especially the mother and the baby,
Uh-huh.
bonding between them in the wild, because it always fascinates me, and I find that a mother is universal, the way a mother shows the affection and love to the young ones. So when you go and see different types of species, mother and baby interacting, I don't find any different from a human being. you
Look
know
at
uh,
this.
a toddler, an infant, all the way they play, the way they are so active, and you know uh, it just I am very attracted towards them.
It's these are like such a beautiful pictures.
Hyena is very common, but hyena pups are, I mean, this was a nice moment where we saw four hyena pups. But you see, even if they are a predator or a prey, a
Uh-huh.
mother and a baby connection is the same. The way the mother takes care, the way the baby takes care. I mean, the way the baby interacts with the mother,
Mhm.
siblings. bonding.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I think the viewers should go to your Instagram handle and also your web page so that they can see all the beautiful pictures. Bonding. Look at this cheetah, big cat.
Look at the mother. Look at the expression of the mother. The mother is so focused because the mother actually wants to look for a prey.
Yes.
But this cub is not. This cub is completely oblivious of what the mother is going. The cub is doing the natural things any small baby will be doing.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, you do your work, I'm just playing with your tail.
Yeah. Even mountain gorillas, gorillas are, we share actually, humans share 99.75% of DNA with mountain gorillas. So the
Wow.
way they are more like us. This is a baboon. Yeah.
Oh, this
That's a
one is a
gazelle.
baboon.
That's a
This is a
baboon.
baboon. Okay. So baboon is like
Look at the curious baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't stop sharing. Like you got like amazing pictures on your grid. You got like really amazing pictures.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
final question for you. What's your favorite animal?
It's very difficult to zero in on anything. I actually love any animal, especially if they are having emotions, expressions, and I love to shoot in action. But if you ask me, there are three animals which strikes me and which is always in my mind is cheetah, mountain gorilla, and giraffes.
Okay.
So these are the
I
three
know your
animals.
logo is with giraffe. That I know.
Yes. Yes.
So I
So
got many
Aparna,
questions.
you must come to Africa. You must come to Kenya
Of
to
course,
visit,
after this
look at
pandemic,
African wildlife.
first thing we are going to do, because every year we love to travel, but this year because of COVID we
Yes.
couldn't travel. But
Yes.
if things go good, I would love to. And also I like the way you teach your son. You take him to all the places and you're showing him everything. So that is how I
Yeah.
want to raise my son. So for sure we'll be there. Like hopefully, if everything
Yeah.
comes to an end,
Yes.
this year or next year, I'll be there with you.
Sure, Aparna. Most welcome. Most welcome. And thank you for giving this opportunity. I'm really happy that I could share little bit about my life, and also if people find it inspiring, I'm really grateful to what I've been doing. Thanks to wildlife, thanks to family, friends, all the support which I'm getting, which has what I am today.
And also today is World Girl Child Day. So do you have anything like a small message to our viewers?
I think the main thing and I love girls, girl child. One thing is never fear, and never put yourself down that you cannot do it. You definitely can do it. So remove the fear, even if you have been told you should not do this. Keep questioning. Why should I not do this?
Thank you so much. And also from our morning raga and from our viewers and listeners, a wonderful happy birthday to your son.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aparna.
I know it's a very important day for you, but still you're here and talking to us. And we
No,
wish you a
I'm
very
glad.
wonderful day.
And you take care, Aparna. Just knowing you for a few days before the interview, I am so proud of you also, that what you are doing, you take care of, you are a health caregiver, and especially for senior citizens. I really, really appreciate that. You have a two-year-old boy,
Yes.
and you are balancing great in life about, taking care of many things. And you're doing this entertainment show as a radio jockey. Hats off to you. You are an achiever.
Long way to go, ma'am. Long way.
No, no,
And
no, no.
whenever we see people like you who like it's very hard to find positive people around you, and who will put a nice path for us so that we can go in a proper way. And also there, like after seeing you, we can I also came to this feeling like it's not only about becoming a doctor or engineer or any other. There are many things where you can explore and you can encourage your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes,
and also maybe we can just take them and go with them for a walk and explain them how things work. And we
yes,
never know what interest they'll have in their life. So
absolutely. Absolutely. As long as you specialize on that and you just keep going what you like to do, I think any profession is great.
yes. So, and also viewers, please follow Usha Harish Photography on Instagram, and her website details and also about her Mara Silgi camp. All the details are there on her Instagram profile, and her website is www.ushaharish.com. And please show your love, and ma'am, we want more pictures from you and more stories from you. I know every picture got a very beautiful story behind it. So in future,
Yes.
I'm just looking forward for
Thank
more
you.
and more.
I am also inspired by Uma about
Uh,
showing YouTube content. So I just started a small YouTube channel, Safari with Usha, which
mhm.
I have to be active in updating. Which so yeah, there are many videos in that as well. African wildlife.
Yes, and recently you posted on your Instagram. Like I remember, like I was watching this Netflix web series, The Crown, and there I have seen this episode of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, visiting the elephant
Yeah,
thing.
Aberdare National Park
And you recently have been there and you
posted that.
posted. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Like
yes.
this is your last question. Can you please share your experience?
No, that was we just went on a holiday, family
Uh-huh.
holiday, and we stayed in that lodge, Treetops Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
It was very historic for me when I went,
Mm-hmm.
visited, and saw that even I watched The Crown, and I was equally excited that I am in that same place, and they have nicely written down, 1952 when the princess was turned to a queen and she got the news she was here. So that was
Yes.
like a nice moment to feel, wow, such a historical lodge it is, and it's been for a long time.
And
So
what
it was just a weekend holiday. Yes, yes.
yeah. I wish I just quit everything what I'm doing one day. I just come to you and just join your camp and just be there forever and ever.
You need to have a lot of patience.
I know. But I think I'm like that, so I would definitely love that thing, and like
Yeah.
personally better than city life. That's what I feel.
So
So
if anyone wants to learn wildlife photography, and if they are hobbyist who wants to come and explore, they can join for my photo safaris, and we can do that also.
sure, and also, ma'am, like every week or every month, like according to your convenience, maybe you can just share some tips because online, like because now everything is virtual, right? So that at least
Mhm.
people like me, when we are doing something, oh, okay, this is the tip of the day or tip of the week.
Sure, sure, sure. We'll work on that.
Looking forward for it, ma'am.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for being on our show. And it's for me, it's a privilege for me.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you a lot for your channel and Uma for making this happen. For all your Telugu viewers, I'm sorry I'm not a Telugu fluent speaking person, but I wish you all healthy, prosperous 2021, and be adventurous, keep traveling, and enjoy every bit of what nature has to offer.
Thank you, ma'am. And wish you a happy new year. And that's it. Thank you.
See you.
Love from Canada.
Thanks. Bye from Nairobi, Kenya.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
So that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed our interview live session today with wildlife photographer Usha Harish Garu. I still don't want to call her Usha for sure because it's not about anything, it's just out of respect what she is doing, and she's such an inspiring person. And also, because today is Girl Child Day, I just, Usha Garu, she already gave a beautiful message, but please respect girls. It's not only like we are talking about empowerment or anything, it's not about this, but please respect a human being, treat them well, and just encourage like what they want to do. And like if you encourage them equally, how you do, how you encourage your boy kids, you'll definitely see many things, and world is beautiful, and everybody together, we all together make this world more beautiful. Much love. Don't forget to stay home, stay safe, and pandemic is not yet done, and everybody are getting affected now. Virus is everywhere, in the air, in front of you, in your friends, everywhere. So just be, stay home, stay safe, and please, all the healthcare providers, they are doing a lot for you guys, and they are at risk. And also, I'm into healthcare, so even I'm at risk. So I just request everybody to stay home and stay safe. Love you all. Signing off for today. Itlu, me RJ Aparna.